How are you?
Hey, thanks for taking a few minutes out of practice today. Appreciate it.
No problem.
We just spoke to your mother as well as Tyler Donahue. It's sort of the Ahmir Mitchell hour here. So we're talking about your selection to Michigan, and I know we spoke on Thursday at the selection party. What's it feel like now, a few days after making that selection?
Well, it feels good. I feel like a lot of weight is off my shoulders after I made the decision. Now I'm kind of just relaxed, getting into the season, focusing on getting healthy and getting back out there with my teammates.
Now, I got to ask you this. What was your teammates' reaction to that video? It's a pretty cool video.
Yeah, they all liked it. They said it was, the first time, they ever seen someone, commit using a plane. So, it was a clever thing that Bleacher Report came up with, and I was excited to do.
What was the filming like? I mean, you had to feel like kind of like a movie star there for a little while.
Yeah, it took about 2 days to complete the video with the audio voiceover and doing the filming. So it wasn't too bad. It was a fun experience, and I did kind of feel like a little movie star with the camera following around for 2 days.
Nice. Now with the audio, the voiceover that you did you kind of write that, or did they help you out with that? What was the process like for coming up with the voiceover for that minute-and-a-half video?
Oh yeah, with the voiceover and the film, Bleacher Report came up with all of it. They kind of just came to me with ideas. I was pretty open with it, and they threw some things at me, and whatever I liked, they told me I could, pick and choose. So I did more than just the voiceover that everyone heard, but that's the ones, that I liked and chose to put in.
Take me back to Thursday evening. You had a big party at your house with a lot of friends and family, a lot of media on hand to make this announcement to attend the University of Michigan. And your mother's reaction was just priceless. How did you keep that secret from her this whole time?
Well, it wasn't too hard to keep a secret. I'm kind of good with keeping secrets and things like that, so it wasn't hard. But I was tempted to tell my brother, but I finally held that out. Stuck it out without telling him to. So it was a big surprise for everyone, and I enjoyed doing it in front of their friends and family that Thursday at the little barbecue.
Yeah, I thought one of the neatest things your mom said was that she kept trying to get the information out of your brother Damon, and he was like, "Hey, I don't know. He hasn't told me." So, because I guess you figured she'd be grilling him for the information, right?
Exactly. If anyone was to know, he'd probably be the one. So she was all on him about it.
What was his reaction? I mean, he's coming into his own down there at the University of Arkansas, looking for a big year, and that's got to be such a cool relationship you guys have. Both having the football thing in common, and as well as now both going to be big time college football players. How much did you rely on him going through this whole recruiting process?
Well, I relied on my brother a lot going into it, just from his experience going through it and being able to learn from his trials coming through the recruiting process. So to look at him and to be able to talk to him and see with some schools from his previous recruiting, to see how some schools are and how the game works. It's a business, and it's crazy being so young you can get into something like that. And the recruiting days now, it really changed and it's elevating to another level, as everyone can tell. Even by looking at the commitment videos years ago, that wasn't unheard of. So, things are elevating, and I looked to him for help throughout the process, and I learned a lot when he went through it also.
Talk a little bit real quick about your teammates. I know they've been a huge part of this for you. I know you're getting a lot of the attention, obviously, with being a four-star recruit, but how much have you relied on those guys just to keep you humble and keep you focused on everything that you're doing at Cedar Creek?
Well, with the teammates, they, just treat me like, a regular old cat. When sometimes, I walk out, only thing I hear is football this, football that. But, when I'm with my teammates, it's never, oh, yeah, what school you going to or nothing like that. It's just, practice and, just goofing around, playing around. So, it really brings me back to the norm, from away from, all the hype and stuff like that. And, on the field and off the field, they help keep me grounded. Anything I mess up on a block or anything, they on my case about it. Not expecting me to, really make any mistakes. So, having them guys around, it helps me, and I try to help them also.
Real quick before we let you get back to practice, Ahmir, Just tell us a little bit, real quick, in about a minute or so, what's going through your mind. It's got to be such a huge weight off your shoulders, and now you can kind of concentrate on Cedar Creek and getting out there and trying to go after that state championship.
Yeah, exactly. With this, decision finally made up, now I can, focus really into, school, finishing up, the class that I have, to take to get into to graduate early, and just grinding with my brothers, trying to get to state championship. First game next week, so we kind of locked in, focused, and ready for next Friday. We take on Cedar Grove, so that's the main focus, taking it week by week, game by game, and day by day, to get to the level we need to get to see December 5th.
Outstanding. Thanks a lot, Ahmir, and good luck the rest of the way. Appreciate you coming on board.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, that was Ahmir Mitchell, wide receiver at Cedar Creek.